All right, I'm been looking at the markets, of course, over the last few days. We're going to shift gears here a little bit, talk about the economy. Gold broke $4,000 an ounce for the first time ever. Silver is now at a record all-time high, just at $50, breaking its old highs set back in 1980 when the Hunt brothers cornered the market. Gold backing up a little bit. Maybe it's peaked, maybe it has not. We'll have to take a look at that. My next guest, Paul Stone, Air Force veteran, author of the explosive new book, 1971, How All of America's Problems Can Be Traced to a Singular Day in History. We'll talk about that. Paul, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Glad to have you here. All right, let's talk about the economy. It's a concern for some because as I look at this, and the stock market setting records, it broke 47,000. The NASDAQ, the S&P is setting all-time records as well this year. Inflation down a little bit. We could see a reduction in interest rates. Right now, we're paying $1.2 trillion in interest as a country annually. It's ridiculous. But you're concerned for where we go from here, for America's retirement community. You think there could be a crisis, an economic collapse. I concern myself with the same issues. What are your thoughts today?
Well, on that specific note, if you thought of a country's currency as the steel in its financial infrastructure, the steel behind the walls, we all seen the skyscrapers being built, and we see all those steel girders going up and the concrete, right? What does the concrete hang off of? And so if that currency, that steel in the girders of our financial world were to weaken, wouldn't one come to the conclusion or the idea, at least the fear of, well, can things break off of that? So when the dollar was constructed, it was backed by gold because paper actually isn't money. It can represent the money. In our current, modern times, we could say that the paper money was the avatar of gold. Right, so it was a better way to carry it. And when you come off the gold standard in 1971, you create all kinds of problems, this just being one of them. But in the year 2000, now that the dollar can just be created out of thin air, it isn't the avatar of gold anymore. It's money all by itself, which is
it's fiat.
Yeah, the dollar's worth 56 cents in the year 2000. Whoa. And today it's worth 3 cents. So if the dollar was also something that was mined, the government has emptied 97% of the dollar mine. And you're going, well, okay, who cares? But that's how the lights are on today. The $2 trillion a year that the government needs to create out of thin air or mine out of the ground to pay its bills means eventually there is no dollar. That's just what it means mathematically.
The weak dollar gets weaker, and a lot of people are concerned about that. On the same token, however, we're still the #1 economy in the world. If we go south, the whole world goes with us. China follows, the EU follows. If we go into let's say, a global depression, America, if we fall economically, everybody else falls too, don't they?
Right. So my crystal ball is still fuzzy. Right.
Okay.
All I'm doing is reading the math problem. I'm giving math, which is a language, the vocalization it needs that people don't ever hear. And so I would say to you, one, that comment intends to assume permanence. And I don't know a reserve currency country by human standards that has ever lasted forever. Portugal had the title for 400 years. Rome invented it. And the countries in between, we took over for England. And so, and also one of the things about that is when the reserve currency country fails, we just want to understand that the people there made it great. And the governments presided over its ruin. But when England was losing reserve currency status to us, we were here to pick up the pieces for England. The dollar's worth 3 cents. Your government has created over 1 million years of money of debt in 25 years, right? How does that speak to permanence? The only thing that's permanent is what the government's #1 export is, which is inflation to the world. Which is why the world is sick and tired of using our dollar. That's why Saudi Arabia said, no, we're not going to stay exclusive to the dollar anymore during the Biden administration. We also see idiots that come to Washington like Joe Biden decide to weaponize the currency and lock up $600 billion of Russia's wealth just because it happens to be electronically in the dollar.
So what is the future then? So let me ask you about that. Electronic currency. which is what they want in the EU. They want a cashless society. I've talked about this since the 1980s. A cashless society, because that way they can control every transaction that you do.
Wow.
They can watch everything. They'll tax everything, whether you buy a stick of gum or buy a house. They'll be attached to everything, won't they?
Yeah, I just don't think, and I don't really mean for this to sound alarming, but I just don't think that they'll make it that far. We won't. You're losing 2 pennies of buying power in the dollar a year since the year 2000. Debt was $4 trillion in the year 2000. It's $37 trillion today. You want to talk about global warming? All of the ice sheets in the financial world are practically gone. All of the glaciers, all of the stanchions that you would count on that create a calm and stable, predictable and sustainable financial weather are all out of balance. And it's all done by man. And the scary thing again is, as England was losing reserve currency status, we came up behind them. Who would come up behind us? China? BRICS? No. So the world likely fractures into 3 zones. That who's willing to deal with North America. Europe is kind of stuck in the middle, and then all the BRICS nations. And there really won't be a reserve currency.
But BRICS really hasn't got any traction yet. BRICS so far has not gotten the traction. They had their big meeting in July. It didn't really go anywhere.
Well, they don't take over because they just like us better. It's when we implode, there can't be a void. There'll have to be a way that countries do trade.
So how do we fix it?
The first thing to do is arm the 350 million Americans in this country with the awareness of what your government's actually been doing to you as they cause inflation. And read the book. It's on Amazon. And that's not to sell books. That's literally to help my brothers and sisters here understand that you can take your life back, that which you focus on will grow. And when we can stop being so distracted and so reactionary to everything and calm down, just slow down for a second and realize life is happening where our feet are, zoom out and realize this is our 80 years to spend here. I want to spend it with peace of mind. And the government's not going to deliver that to me. I'm going to have to secure that. Then we will start representing something completely different for ourselves in Washington. Thomas Jefferson said, you get the government you deserve. Ouch. Ow. We're getting the government we deserve.
Well, the problem is the problem, Paul, is this. You said 350 million Americans have to, get on the same page. I don't know if you can get half of America on the same page any given day on any given topic. So there's your challenge. It's almost impossible because the government has not only fractured the currency and the dollar is so weak, it's also that they've fractured us into our little tribes and so forth. Yes, I got to leave it there for today. Well, where can people find the book, Paul?
It's on Amazon. 1971. That's the year Nixon created a false financial reality for us to be miserable in.
There you go, Paul Stone. Good conversation. You come back anytime, we'll continue it, all right?
I love that. Thank you for the invite, and thanks for having me, Steve. God bless you and all the work you're doing.
God bless you. That's the theme of the day. God bless you. If you don't have currency, you better invest in something important. A Bible comes to mind. All right, we'll take a break and be back. It's the Steve Gruber Show. Good morning.